So I am going to say welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Margarita with Azamara, Strategic Business Development Manager for Eastern Canada. And I am so happy to say that we've got Eric Gray with us today. And he is our cruise director on the Azamara journey. And he is absolutely thrilled to know that we are going back to the water. So let us start. Um, there have been lots of the new developments going on at Azamara. I think one of the most significant things that has happened in 2021 is that we were sold and purchased, and the company who purchased us is called Sycamore Partners. Now, Sycamore Partners is an investment equity firm based out of Manhattan, and we are the first hospitality company that they have purchased. They own such retail outfits as Ann Taylor, Talbot's, Staples. So they have been very successful in growing businesses. And so we are thrilled to have them as our new owners, and we are absolutely thrilled to have Carol Cabezas, who has been with the company from the get-go, as our new president, and somebody who's got a lot of history in the cruising industry is Orlando Ashford, who is our executive chairman. So we are in great hands. We've got terrific people at the helm, and we are really confident in our ability to continue with the amazing product that you know is Azamara. So for those of you who are not so familiar with Azamara, let's just touch on why Azamara. So Azamara is connecting people to people, people with cultures, people with themselves, and really enables people to look at life with a new perspective. And I love that about travel in general. I just think that when you come home, you have a better understanding. You really appreciate what you have. And I just think that it opens our minds and makes us want to be, as human nature, explorers. So we have, our ships are all 30,000 gross registered tons. Now, that might not mean much to you, but what it really does mean is that we hold at a maximum 700 guests and 408 crew. So our crew to our crew to guest ratio is very low, and that means incredible service, attention to detail, and you are able to create a very friendly environment on board. The other nice thing about the size of the ships is that not only the ambiance on board, but when we go into the ports of call that we go into, 65% of the ports that we visit cannot be accommodated by larger vessels. So we do actually touch on waterways that are rivers or get close to coastlines, which is fantastic. And so it is the destinations that we are able to offer that other cruise lines simply cannot go to. Destination immersion is an amazing development that we have. I'm just going to ask, if you are not muted, if you could mute yourself. So I'm going to see if I can just do that for you. But we have destination immersion, which is immersive itineraries, and anything that we depart the port after 8 p.m. is considered a late night stay. So 50% of the calls that we go to either feature a late night or an overnight stay. And something a lot of people are unfamiliar with, Azamara is really happy to hear about, is that your gratuities are all taken care of. Food and beverages are taken care of. And when we talk about beverages, it's not just soft drinks and bottled water. It is also specialty coffees, wine, beer, and mixed drinks as well. So that is a wonderful feature. We've got these amazing cultural evenings. And if we can't get as close to a port that we would really like to get to, then we do offer shuttle service. So those are all key points. It's the size of the ship, the fact that we can get into areas that other people cannot get to. 50% of our calls are late night or overnight stays, and then all of these inclusive amenities, gratuities, food and beverage, cultural evening, shuttle service, and more. So our three ships, The Journey, the Quest, and the Pursuit are currently docked in Glasgow, Scotland, and they are getting ready to get back out into the water. And we're really, really happy to announce that shortly after the Sycamore Partners bought us, they also bought a fourth ship for us. So we've got this fourth boutique hotel at sea. It will be joining the fleet in Europe in 2022, so we're able to offer 33% more capacity. I love the name, the Azamara Onward. It represents moving forward in space and time. And coming out of this pandemic, it's just a great way to look at this new ship, look at our brand, and to just look at travel in general. So it's just, let's start thinking about moving forward in space and time. So as I mentioned, we are getting ready to explore again. So we have been featured in trade papers. I'm sure Blows and Stewart have been talking to you about ships coming back into the water. And we announced in late April that we were coming back in August. And that was open for sale as of Friday, the 14th of May. So these are the first times that the ships are coming back into the water. So the Azamara Quest is departing from Athens return starting August the 28th. The Pursuit will be back in September, and that will be doing 11-night Greece intensive voyages. And then the Journey, Eric's home away from home, is 12 nights Greece intensive starting in October. So some terrific itineraries, it's really great to be thinking that we're getting back out there. And just a quick look at the first couple of sailings that we will be doing in Greece this fall. We've got August the 28th, September 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. All return Athens to Athens. So you'll see places like Santorini. We'll be going into Crete and Cyprus. We'll be going into Rhodes. So the itineraries vary slightly, but generally there are 6 ports of calls. There are a number of late night stays in all of these itineraries as well. And then the Quest on October the 2nd will be doing the Classic Med. So it will be departing from Athens and going to Santorini, Heraklion. It will be going into Cologne, and then off to Italy. So the Amalfi Coast, Sorrento, and Rome. So we're really absolutely thrilled that we are able to come back. And the thing that is on everybody's mind is making sure that it is safe. So what is Azamara doing? Well, we are working with the CDC, we are working with medical groups, we're working with government bodies. And so one of the reasons that we're going back into Greece is because the Greek government is very excited to have tourism starting up again. So we've had to work very closely with them as to the ports of calls that we're doing and what protocols do we have in place. So moving forward, and this is, today is May 2021, this is subject to change, but right now for those sailings, vaccinations are mandatory. So for all crew and all guests, they must have the COVID-19 vaccine. There will be testing, there will be screening prior to boarding. We have upped the cleaning protocol. So it is now a medical grade cleaning standard. We have enhanced crew training. We have improved the air filtration. So it's 100% fresh filtered air in the staterooms as well as in the public rooms. And then we have enhanced staff equipment in the medical capabilities as well. So with complete and utter confidence, we know we are going to make it safe for our crew and safe for our guests. And who are our guests? Well, our guests are essentially empty nesters. So Azamara serves as a high-end cruise market. So we're attracting people who really want to see the world, want to get out and explore, not necessarily wanting to sit on a beach and read a book. So they want to dive into culture, and they're motivated by these enriching life experiences, and they are adventure seekers. We have a mix of international clientele on board. 40% of our clients are from the US and Canada, 40% are from Europe, and 20% are from other countries. So it really does make for an international feel on board. But the other thing is it is primarily English speaking on board. So you're attracting English speaking clientele, and that makes for great friendships because everybody can communicate. I think one of the biggest assets with Azamara are our crew. So we have got an incredible crew. We are constantly rated very high on the surveys that our guests fill out. And I'm going to let Eric just describe this slide for you, as he's been working with some of these people for a number of years and knows them much better than I do. So Eric, if you want to take it away.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Really great to be here. Welcome aboard Azamara. We want to give you a little sneak preview of what you can sort of expect here on board. And I'm one of those that you're going to have to expect, and you can expect the unexpected from me. And you'll probably get the hang of that as we go along in the presentation. But as Margarita said, one of the things that is key on Azamara that we are noted for is the crew, and we are like family. There's no way that you can avoid us. Unfortunately, we're going to be there, and we're going to be very present, and you're going to see captains, hotel directors, cruise directors quite visible and around the ship. And it is seeing some of these faces, you know, it's been over a year and a half for some of us since we've been on the ships. Myself, I think I'm the longest one that hasn't been there. So it's really, you know, you look at some of these faces and you really do feel like you're looking at your family. The top row across there is our captains, and they're pretty special fellas. We're still looking for some females out there. So if any of you are online and thinking of a career at sea, we'd love to have you, because we all know that ladies will take us to some interesting places. But the captains there on board, they do some spectacular things. And when we get into some of the itineraries, I can say, for example, I've spent a lot of my time with Captain Johannes. He's the one in the very middle there. He's about 5'6", 5'7". I'm 6'6". I know you can't tell that on camera right now, but he claims I'm his twin brother. So he has worked his way into the family, but not into the will. But the guys are terrific. The next row is our hotel directors. And I should say with the captains, when I say that, I mean, they'll do things out of the blue. Captain Johannes has been known to call me up outside of Iceland and say, hey, you want to go fishing? And I had no idea what he was talking about. And of course, the Norwegians, they can construct a fishing line out of anything. We did catch a lot of fish, and that fresh fish was on the menu that night in one of our specialty restaurants. We had the cameras going. It was great fun. I asked him later, how did you even know that there were fish in this area? He said, well, didn't you see the whales up ahead? And I went, so I have a line in the water, and I'm fishing amongst whales. Were you trying to get rid of a cruise director easily, or what was the tactic? But anyway, and of course he likes to do 360s, as do the other captains. We've done it for sunsets. We've done it as well in Norway in the fjords in front of the Three Sisters, so that everybody got a view from their balconies on both sides of the ship. It's pretty spectacular, and it is a bit of a tight squeeze, I will say that. Our hotel directors are some of the finest in the industries. They're not shy of getting involved in the operations. On the far left, you see Heike there. She's from Germany, and she's been with the company since its conception in 2007. Next to her is Elizabeth. She has come from a couple of different lines, smaller lines, and she's joined us in the last 5 years, I believe it is. And then, of course, with the next two gentlemen, food and beverage managers that work their way up, Richard and Simone. And then you have on the last on the final bottom row is the cruise director there, Amanda, as well as on the far right in the blue suit, that's Ernest from the United States. And I'm competing with somebody tonight, aren't I? Somebody has their own little microphone in the
Eric, I think I muted you, sorry. Okay, try now.
Okay, there we go. I think I'm on now. Okay, is it my show now, Margarita?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I was trying to silence everybody, and I hit silence
I
all.
have to tell you the truth though, when we have acts that come on sometimes and it's their first time and you don't know what to expect. And it has been known that they've walked out and within 3 sentences, all of a sudden you'll hear at the back of the room the cruise director yelling, "Blackout!" So that was a blackout as far as I was concerned from a Zoom presentation. Fantastic. Well done, Margarita. I'm glad we had that moment together. Anyway, you'll see a lot of these people on board, very engaging, and it's just infectious with amongst the crew as well. We like to keep them entertained. I'm not sure what the next slide is, but it is true. Royal Caribbean actually couldn't figure out what we were doing. Well, there gives away a few things. You can see how outrageous we can be. That's Lee in my arms there. He's the assistant cruise director. That's Heike, the hotel director. And that's me. We do some wonderful shows on board. And that was the end of our Broadway show where I was playing Mama from Hairspray. And that was the captain. He decided he wanted to get in on the show. So we had our own little spiel there at the end as he took Mama from Hairspray off. And, you know, he may be the driver of the ship, but he was in my show. So I got to escort him wherever I wanted on that particular moment. But the kind of fun that we do have on board as well in amongst the shows. And after that, where are we headed?
So then we're basically going right back to the ship, which is what we do at the end of every port. And if you are on our ship for the first time, you may be considered a guest, but after that, you are considered family, and that is why you will hear people saying, "Welcome home." So your home at sea is a boutique hotel. This is our grand lobby area. And I'm going to take you through the staterooms and pass it back over to Eric to go through the public rooms because, as you know, Eric, what is it? What do we say about the staterooms?
I'm not allowed to be in them. So I wouldn't know what they look like.
So we're going to just show you where your accommodation is.
Margarita, thank you.
So 10% of our inventory is inside staterooms, and we do have ocean view. What I love is anytime you have a veranda, just to be able to have that late night cocktail, looking at the stars, hearing the water, coming into port with your coffee, looking at the shoreline as we get ready to dock at those great ports of call. So I love the balconies. When we get into the suite accommodation, there are additional amenities. So we have butler service. We have complimentary Wi-Fi minutes for the suite guests, complimentary laundry, specialty dining, tea service, and onboard credits. So those are all considerations when you are booking your accommodation to decide what is important for you, and then take advantage of those offerings as you choose your accommodation. When we get into dining, we have quite a few dining options. Discoveries is our main dining room, and I'm going to pass it back to Eric because he does a wonderful job explaining our dining options.
Well, I have eaten there a few times, and I will say that you know, you have to indulge in these different areas. They're absolutely spectacular, and there's a different experience in each room. I will warn you that the statistics say that it's £1 a day while you're on board. So we like to joke and say we all come on as guests and leave as cargo, but we would never say that out loud. But anyway, I can imagine what happens with the crew, especially the cruise directors when we're eating and hosting in these places. Discoveries is wonderful. Like I said, no reservations necessary. Now, with the new procedures and protocols, that may be something that we will have to engage in order for social distancing. But under normal operations, once we get to that point, no reservations needed. The main menu itself has a fixed menu on one side. It's destination oriented as well. So you will find dishes from around the world, depending on where we are, something from the Mediterranean, if we're in the Mediterranean, Asia. So a reflection of that. And each night it changes the menu. And then there is an a la carte menu that remains, of course, fixed throughout. So if you really wanted to have that steak or the salmon or chicken, those kind of standards, it is available to you as well. But a gorgeous room. A lot of these public spaces, they were redone just, I think it was about 5 years ago now. And so they're beautifully upgraded. They kept some of the French design from these were the original Renaissance ships. I'm sure many of you already know that. And they incorporated sort of a fusion of modern with the Renaissance style, French style. Then you have the two specialty restaurants, which are up on deck 10. Prime C in the middle there is our steakhouse. And you can get any kind of steak you would like there. They have several different cuts. It's one of the places my mother requests that we go at least 3 times during her stay in a week for filet mignon. And so wonderful environment up there. By the way, I should mention the specialty restaurants you do have to have reservations for because they can only take a certain capacity. And there is a small fee that applies for them. But there's also in Prime C, if you see those orange flowers that are right there beside that yellow candle in the picture, that is a very long table. That's our chef's table, and we have food and wine pairing. So if you're a wine and foodie, you really have to sign up for this. It's a fantastic evening. There's a French night. They've done things even like an Arabian night. We've done a Cuban menu. And again, depending on where we are, you can sample these different pairings. There are 7 courses, but they're easily spaced out so that and of course paired with 7 different types of wines, whether it's at the end the dessert wines, etc. So it's about a 3.5 hour deal. And don't worry if you're afraid of overconsumption or you've drank too much and you're going to fall off those high seats. We do have seat belts that come with them. So we want to make sure that you're safe and secure in our chef's tables. But then you have on the right one of my favorite restaurants as well. It's our seafood restaurant. It's called Aquilina, and with the different combinations and features of seafood done up in that room as well. So that's all on deck 10. And then we move to some of the other spaces around the ship. And we've added a few upgrades. Mosaic Cafe is like our coffee bar. So you can go at any point in time, early morning, straight through to late evening, and you can sit in our beautiful Mosaic Cafe and have different coffees. You can also order a cocktail. The nearby Spirits Bar will certainly service you there should you want to do that. And the shops are in that area as well. So the fellas can relax and watch the women use their credit cards in the shops if you like. Well, I shouldn't really say that. That's being a bit sexist. I've seen a few fellas out there overindulging in the shops. I'm not sure where the other 2 spaces, did I touch on them? We have the Windows Cafe, which is upstairs on deck number 9, sorry. And that's a buffet style. It has been anyway, and there may be some modifications to that. But that is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And at dinner, there are various themes each night. So you can have Spanish night, Italian night. We've had Middle Eastern cuisine. We across the board. Again, a Cuban menu we had. Depending on where we are, the chefs like to get very creative. So a lovely evening up there. More of a buffet style though for breakfast and lunch. Again, that will likely change when we go back with service until we things settle down. We have our new patio area there, and that's a beautiful place, very casual. You don't really want to, get overly dressed up. And during the day, it's of course the burger and sandwich bars. They have wonderful, wonderful fresh tuna wraps. I highly recommend grilled tuna, that is. And in the evening, the lamb there is probably the best on the ship. They do a spectacular bacon-wrapped lamb that everybody raves about. But a lovely area as well to just go and sit and enjoy, the fresh air, because that is moving right on into the deck, which I think is in our next slide. We have the events that do take place. Outside, you can see the pool deck there. That's during the day, of course, where everybody can go. You can see on the picture on the top right, just next to the logos, there's a little area there doesn't get found out a lot. There's a set of stairs that take you up there, and if you like to be quiet and a little more serene from the main crowd, you can find your way up there. They do have some lovely deck chairs, lounge chairs. We don't play a lot of music during the day. We got away from that because of guest feedback. On sea days, we do feature some live music. On the pool deck, there's a little bandstand there, which is not seen in the picture because it's on this end. You're seeing the pool bar at the other end. In the middle picture, and I'll add that on the pool deck is where we have our White Nights party. So if you are coming, that's where the location of that takes place. Our living room, as we call it, completely gutted and redone. It's an evening entertainment area. We have a tapas bar there as well for cocktail hour, and some beautiful views. If you were, as you can see the direction of the chair, you'll be facing out the front windows there. So you'll be, you have a great visual. When we're going through places like the Suez Canal or the Panama Canal, it's a great place, or fjords. A lot of people love to come up there as well. On the sea days where there are activities, and our DJ is up there as well at night. And then we have this new space called the Den, which is on the Quest and the Pursuit at the moment. Journey will be getting that. They have decided to go ahead with the upgrades for that. So that will be taking place before it goes back into service in October. And that, again, is another beautiful casual space. It used to be where the casino was for anybody who's been on before. We no longer have that. It's there's a piano player, entertainer that is in there, and other activities during the day can take place there, but a beautiful casual lounge area that our guests have really, really enjoyed. So those are a lot of the public spaces that we have. And then, of course, we have our Evening Under the Stars, which is a huge event. As you can see, it's beautifully decorated. Bring something white to wear. It is a white night party. If you don't worry. Just use your bed sheet and we'll all know who you are. We've had toga parties before amongst our guests. And we also do some destination performances as well, like we'll bring on local shows, that kind of thing that will be taking place. So a lot will be taking place when we go back, our Amazing Evenings. As far as locations, obviously due to the pandemic, that's going to be put on hold for a while. That we'll be doing a lot on the deck for you with local entertainments. Coming on board. Public spaces, as we see, spa and fitness. We have a beautiful gym. It's quite big for a ship its size, and a lot of people make great use of it. And the spa is connected with there. We have the Steiner team on board, so you can get facials, pedicures, manicures, you name it, and a nice updo. If you want to get an updo with highlights, I can recommend it. They do a great job. And then you have the Cabaret Lounge, which is where the entertainment takes place. Lectures during sea days as well, but that's where all the evening's entertainment is. It's a very intimate little space. It's beautiful. Think of old style cabaret kind of thing, but in a new type and setting. We have had some of the best and leading shows for mid-sized small ships. We've won the Magellan Awards as well. We were really thrilled about that. I will say that, as I've said many times, our guests have been there, done that, seen that. A lot of times in the mid-sized small ships, a lot of money isn't spent on entertainment. This is something that Azamara does a great deal of. We as cruise directors also have to have either Broadway backgrounds, West End backgrounds, or recording contracts of some form. And so we are part of the shows. That is part of our duties. It's not because we have huge egos that we can't fit in the room and need to be on the stage all the time with a microphone. I know that goes against, never mind. Anyway, so we do like to have a lot of fun, and you have to be able to laugh at yourself, folks. I'm putting that right out there. So you've seen some of the outfits I wear to pay the bills. So you'll have some great entertainers. Now, as far as entertainment is concerned on the ship, you do have, as I mentioned earlier, we have a DJ on board. We have guest entertainers, comedy magicians, instrumentalists. We have a 6-member cast that is coming out of New York, RWS, which does a lot of shows for Oprah Winfrey. We have as well quartets that will be playing live for you up in the living room throughout the course of the day. And we have the cabaret entertainer in the den that I had mentioned earlier. We also, as you can see, some of the local entertainment that we do try to get on board every cruise to bring some cultural event to you, whether it's with the Amazing Evening or in addition to White Nights Evening, etc. We also have our sports bar there, where you can see gentlemen sort of sitting there. It's part of the den area. And then, of course, you can see me in my dated Las Vegas suit. There's a lot of rhinestones there. You just don't sit down for an hour. And you get quite a cross section of the assistant cruise directors doing their own shows as well. And so you have a fusion of different styles of music. Because we have quite a wide range in age on board, so we like to be able to appeal to all of the eras. But it doesn't matter what you put on, as long as there's some ABBA, everybody seems to be happy. So we guarantee you that you'll get to hear some ABBA along the way. So those are, we do have daily activities as well. And as I mentioned, we have a wonderful lecture program on board where we have a speaker for the destinations and sometimes the special enrichments, especially on longer voyages. There you can see part of our cultural events. The captain is there. We like to dress the part as well, so you can get your face painted in Mexico the next time we were there to do. That was part of our Amazing evening, and that gives you a little bit of fun that we have with the guests. That's me and my show doing the Surrey with the fringe on top, and I usually pick a lady in her 80s who's half my size, and she becomes my Laurie in the Surrey, and we have a little tongue-in-cheek fun. So who knows what's going to happen in the pandemic anymore? We won't be holding hands. We'll probably still continue, maybe even bump fists eventually. We do have some family fun, as I mentioned, on board, and that is actually my mother. When she's on board, nobody in my family gets a free cruise. They have to work for it. So in this case, my mother's a wonderful pianist. She's played with some of Frank Sinatra's retired pianists, and that's her and I doing the Liberace version of the Battle Hymn of the Republic. And she's a bigger star of the rest of the cruise than I would ever be, kind of thing. But it's great fun to have mom on board, especially, and dad as well. I've been known to put him in a wig and march him in the Mardi Gras parade. So it gives you a bit of a flair of what the kind of family thing is with us here on Azamara and how we integrate with the guests as well.
That is so awesome. Thanks so much for sharing, Eric. I do want to say that we will continue with our cultural events. We're going to be calling them destination celebrations, and we will likely be bringing those on board for those first little until we're out of this pandemic 100%. So we'll continue, but we'll be continuing on board. So let's talk about some of the destinations that we go to. Between 2022 and 2023, we will be hitting 70 countries, 275 unique ports, 300 late nights, and 170 overnight stays. So giving you ample opportunity to get out and explore. One of the features that we do have with our destination immersion is we have been focusing on country-intensive itineraries. So in Europe, we have country-intensive itineraries in France, Croatia, Spain, Scotland, Ireland, Italy, as well as Iceland, Norway, Greece, and Turkey. We also do destination country-intensive in Japan, South America, and South Africa. So don't just think about land doing it on your own when you have this fantastic 5-star boutique hotel taking you in the evenings while you're sleeping from one place to another, and you really do get to get closer to the heart of the destination. So Azamara, as you know, is an ocean line, but so we would not like to say that we are a river cruise company by any stretch of the imagination, but we do touch on some rivers. So I know Eric mentioned it, that it's quite interesting to see what these captains can do with these beautiful ships. But when we do our Spanish itinerary, our Spanish intensive itinerary, we don't dock in Cadiz to go to Sevilla. We actually go right up the Guadalquivir River and we dock in the heart of Sevilla. So if you were traveling with another cruise line that happened to dock in Cadiz, you would have about an hour and 40-minute drive to get to Sevilla, and then that ship may well be leaving at 5 o'clock in the evening. Well, when we are there, we overnight. So you get to see that beautiful transition from day to night and really see both the highlights of Spanish culture during the day and then, of course, witness it in the evening as well. Another river that we do venture up to is the Gendron River in Bordeaux. And again, we are in Bordeaux for 2 days for this French intensive itinerary. And so not only do you get one full day in Bordeaux to experience this majestic town, but you would also have time to go out and see the surrounding wine region of France. So a terrific itinerary for those who want to experience more of a specific destination. Another intensive itinerary that we have is Iceland. And so this is where Eric likes to go fishing. But this itinerary starts in Reykjavik. We have an overnight in Reykjavik. The second overnight is in Akureyri, which is only about 100 kilometers from the Arctic Circle. People love Iceland. It has been on people's bucket list for years. One thing that we can probably all agree on is that it is an expensive destination. So people who want to go and see the waterfalls, the botanical gardens in Akureyri, the Blue Lagoon Spa in Reykjavik, these are the types of things that you can do in Iceland, and it is a fantastic itinerary, finishing off with 2 days at sea, bringing you into Copenhagen, which has been voted one of the happiest cities in the world. So you can either get off in Copenhagen, or you can continue on for a 12-night Baltic and Amsterdam voyage. And again, we touch on another river, which is the Neva River in St. Petersburg on this itinerary. And we are in St. Petersburg for 3 days. So we park right at the Hermitage. So you are in the heart of St. Petersburg, and it is one of those towns that you do want to spend as much time as you can when you are there. So a terrific itinerary. So the reason I brought that up is that it is so nice to be able to do back-to-back itineraries and lengthen your vacation. Another intensive itinerary is Italy. So Italy, this itinerary is a little bit different, going from Genoa around the boot into Venice. So I think my highlight for Italy would probably be going into Florence. This itinerary is 11 nights long, 9 ports, 5 late night stays, and 2 overnights. Eric, you've been to Italy, haven't you?
Oh yes, many times. My favorite destination. So
Yeah.
and you're right.
What would
Going
be your highlight?
well, Livorno gives you so many options because that's where we'll dock, and then you can go into Florence, as you said, if you've never been there. If you've been there and then you haven't been to Pisa, then you get to go to Pisa. But I always tell the guests, if you've been to both of these places and you really want to go and see something spectacular, go to Lucca. It's a beautiful village. It's about 30, 35 minutes away, right in the Tuscany region. It's absolutely stunning place. You go there for lunch, and then you visit the architecture in the area itself. Everybody comes back raving. Even the drive just there is stunning. So, but on the Amalfi coastline, there's lots of places in Italy. Sorrento is one of my favorite stops as well. I don't know. I don't think it's on. Is it on that one there, Margarita?
No, Sorrento. Sorry, yes, it is. So we go Sorrento.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't see. So yeah, no, and that is by far one of my favorite. There's a great family restaurant right up in the main square, and my mother, every time I go, I have to come home with limoncello, homemade. The grandfather makes it all. He brings out the trolley cart. The captain pretends that he hasn't had anything, and he can't. But we have to move the cart along very quickly because a lot of you might be sitting there. I can't be the designated driver. So I've tried. But it's a wonderful place to go and eat. Beautiful cuisine. Sorrento's up on the cliff, and when you're on a ship, you get the view that most people don't when they travel by land, because you're seeing these beautiful cliffs. You're anchored there and tendering in and out. So it is one of my favorites, the Amalfi coastline, as well as in Italy. Stunning, stunning. And I will put in another one for that cruise, Kotor, Montenegro. We travel up about 45 minutes up through this wonderful fjord, and we come into the old town of Kotor. Huge highlight for our guests. It's a medieval town, and it really takes people by surprise. So that in and of itself, that is an amazing itinerary right there.
And I love that we're in Venice for 2 days at the end of it, using the hotel or the ship as your hotel. So a really relaxed sort of way to end your stay in Italy. Another fantastic, and I think Eric and I both agree on this, Greece is a phenomenal destination. So the Quest in October of 2022 is doing a 7-night, 7-port, 3 late nights, and 1 overnight stay. I think the highlight for me would likely be Santorini. I just love the view. I love the idea of going up from the port to Fura on the donkeys. Eric has a different story about the donkeys
Because I look like a giraffe on the back of the donkeys, and they look at me like, "Don't get on my back, whatever you do." Too late. Anyway, I did it once. I won't do it again.
yeah, but it's a stunning destination, and of course we're just so thrilled to be going back there this year. But there are options obviously into 2022, and I know we'll be going definitely back there in 2023 as well. Eric, you had a great story about Ephesus.
Yeah, in Ephesus, one of my favorite places to stop in is Kusadasi. I love Turkey, and there's many places to explore by ship as well in Turkey. But on this particular one, you do stop in Kusadasi. You have the Grand Bazaar right there as well. You have, of course, Ephesus, which you're seeing pictures of there. That's the library, the largest structure in there. But this is 3,000 years before Christ. Cleopatra actually walked, and they take you on the actual path. She's not there anymore, I'm sorry. But I was told by one of the guides that some of the original residents are still living there. And that was found miraculous, and it turns out it's the cats. So you will see a lot of cats at Ephesus. They are part of the heritage site of it, but it takes you a full day to really capture all of this. And we had the first amazing evening in one of the amphitheaters there. It had not heard sound in 2,000 years, and we had a harpist and orchestra playing for the event, and it was completely isolated. It was only our guests. And you had the sunset with wine and local finger food, traditional Turkish bits and snacks for the event. Really, really stunning. So much to take in, and as Margarita said, it's one of my favorite destinations. I mean, I'm warning you though, if you do ride those donkeys, you'll be smelling them the rest of the day. You'll be bringing them back with you on the ship. So just fair warning on that. But Santorini in and of itself, you know, it's the volcano there. That's the crater we're actually we're anchored in. Makes for interesting. Well, who knows what could happen? But anyway, that whole itinerary, again, Greece, just spectacular. Turkey, you can't go wrong with any of those ports of call. And Mykonos is another favorite.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is on my bucket list is South Africa. So South Africa, we spent quite a lot of time in Cape Town at the end of this beautiful itinerary. But starting in Cape Town, going out to Port Elizabeth, East London, Mozambique, there is time in Richards Bay to grab a safari, to sit on it, or to do a safari and see the home of Africa's Big Five. Durban, there is the traditional Zulu homestead. There is a Golden Beach, and then what I love is you have 2 full days in Cape Town, and Cape Town is just one of these majestic or magnificent cities. Cultural blend of African, Asian, and European. There's Table Mountain, and of course, not to forget the wineries as well. So some fantastic wineries. We actually do a terrific bike wine tour. But just Africa in sense, I love the picture on the bottom right here. Sort of gives you a true feeling of what you will be able to witness while you are in South Africa. So we have a number of itineraries to South Africa in the winter of 2022, and we have also released about a month ago up to 2023 as well. We have Africa available if it was something that you're looking in the further distance outside. Another great destination is Australia. So this itinerary is February of 2022, hitting all the B's. So we've got the Barrier Reef, we've got Brisbane, and we've got Bali. So terrific itinerary starting in Sydney, ending in Singapore. And as I said, we've got Sydney, the Great Barrier Reef, and Bali. So, Eric, have you done Australia?
I have. It's spectacular, and it really, combining well from Singapore, and then usually after that cruise from Sydney, we head over to New Zealand. So, like the Australians who travel the world, they get it right. If you're going to go that far, you want to look at spending some quality time in Australia itself. The people are just like Canadians. I mean, they go into the local pub and there's a conversation. The only difference is they don't say "a," but howdy mate, whatever, g'day mate. The Great Barrier Reef, and again, you've got tours that are going out to these spaces, and I know they're doing a lot to preserve it now. Even the sailing, we've gone under the bridge before in Sydney in the harbour, and going past the Opera House. It's about almost a 3-hour sail in to get to Sydney, and oftentimes the sailboats will come in and escort you all the way in. But it's sensational. I mean, I can't say enough about Australia. The people, especially, and they're so welcoming. And the highlights, you've touched on a lot of them as well. Definitely something. And I always say, if you're going that far, make sure you try to get New Zealand in there as well, because New Zealand is absolutely stunning. And it's with a lot of, well, you've seen a lot of the movies that were filmed there as well. So you take in a lot of the beauty of its, the geography of New Zealand.
Perfect. And then if you've got any golfers listening today, we have been partnering with Perry Golf since 2011, and Perry Golf has been doing golf trips around the world since the late 80s. They do a fantastic job. They will take care of the tee times. We take care of the transportation to and from the ship to the golf course. Many of our golf courses are ranked in the top 100 by Golfers Digest. We also will pack you a boxed lunch, have an open bar after the game, and then when we get back to the ship, we do have welcome and farewell cocktail parties. We have 23 different golf voyages, more than 70 courses, 23 countries. Right now, we do have up to March of 2023 available. I will warn you now that if anybody is saying, oh, I wonder if that will get me to the British Open in 2022, the answer is no. The wait list is so long that they've actually stopped taking wait lists for that. But we do have some terrific itineraries, and one great one, I love this itinerary of Ireland, the Ireland Intensive, and it is leaving in August of 2022. It is in 2 days in Dublin, so you can play Parnmornrock in Dublin and then spend a full day in Dublin. The next itinerary or the next destination is Belfast, and in Belfast you would play Royal County Down and then have a day in Belfast to walk the Peace Wall, and it's just a fantastically new town, because there was so much devastation when they had their troubles that they have rebuilt so many buildings, and it looks like a brand new city. Then you go around to Londonderry, Donegal, Galway, and then there's also golfing. So there's five late nights, 2 overnights, 5 rounds of golf in this fantastic Irish intensive itinerary. Even if you're not a golfer, the relaxed voyage with the late nights and overnight stays does make this itinerary fantastic. Eric, have you done Ireland?
I have. I can't remember though, because I was in the pub most of the time. But
did you get to pour your own Guinness?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And actually, they made that. There's an interesting for people that go, oh, I don't like Guinness. It's got a bitterness to it, but I was taught you put a shot of Kahlua in that, and it starts to taste like coffee. So I'm not encouraging alcoholism here. I'm just saying it is a drink that you should try at home if you're sometime. You'd be quite surprised. But yeah, no, fabulous. And Dublin was one of my favorite cities as well. But again, very like the Australians, very friendly. Want to have a chat with you, and the country speaks for itself and the geography.
Just the sense of humor of the people.
Oh my gosh.
Love.
Oh yeah.
Mary Joseph. So I think I'm going to wave goodbye to Eric. He's going to join us at the very end with a touch of what you can experience on a white night party. So thanks so much, Eric. And I'm going to just take it away and let you know about some of our offers. So we do have for single travelers, and I know right now as we get back into traveling, a lot of people are taking advantage of exploring the world on their own. Unfortunately, sometimes when you're doing cruising and you have to pay that full single fare, it can be a little bit daunting. However, we have a number of different destinations where the single supplement is as low as 125%. So one of them is the Cities of the Western Med, which is this October, leaving from Rome going into Barcelona. So that is 7 nights, 1 late night stay, 3 overnights, and then anybody looking to go to the Caribbean. Now, the Caribbean is a destination that we don't often travel to with Azamara, but there are 3 fantastic itineraries on the quest at the end of 2021. The 14-night Caribbean Breezes and the 13-night Caribbean Sunset are both at 150% single supplement. The reason I really want to show these itineraries is just have a look at the destinations that we go into. The Grenadines, we go into St. Bart's, Nevis, and we go into all 3 of these itineraries. We go into Saint Martin, and we don't leave Philipsburg, Saint Martin until 10 o'clock at night. So again, having that opportunity to see that transition from day to night. When we go into Labadee, which is the private island, we are the only ship in Labadee when we dock there. So it really does feel like you're on your own private island. So think about it. You've got the sun, the surf, the sand, and of course with Azamara, you always get free drinks. Until the end of June, we do have this terrific promotion on. It is called BOGO 60. So the first person pays the regular fare, and the second person gets 60% off. But just to do the math evenly and to make sure it's fair for everyone, just consider it 30% off per person. That is on top of your already included gratuities, select beverages, and the cultural events. So again, just as a reminder, buy one, get the second at 60% off for select sailings right up until November of 2022, and that is for bookings right up until June 30th. For a limited time, if you book with Azamara through Blows and Stewart Travel, you will be entitled to an ocean view. If you book an ocean view room, you would have a $150 onboard credit. A veranda would be a $200 onboard spending credit, and on a suite it would be $250. So that is only until June 2nd, so 2 weeks from today is when the deposit has to be on in order to take advantage of those terrific onboard savings. And I also want to just advise you that Azamara is doing our first ever consumer virtual wine tasting. So we will be focusing on a France intensive itinerary. The departure is in September of 2022, but we will be it will be hosted by some of the executive from Azamara, and I encourage you to reach out to Blows and Stewart. They have all of the registration information. So if you are looking for a COVID activity on Tuesday, the 15th of June, please join us at 7 o'clock. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So on that note, I just want to leave this up so that you are able to have a look at the places where you can reach out to get more information about Azamara, about our single supplements, about our current BOGO 60, our special offer for those of you who attended, and definitely reach out to your travel consultant to ask for further information. I see that Rob is on. I don't know if you want to say anything, Rob. I'll give it about a minute, and then we're going to pass it over back to Eric to sign us off. So I'm going to end here. Thank you very, very much for your time. I really appreciate your spending your Wednesday night with us at Azamara, and our friend Eric, who is the wonderful cruise director on the Azamara journey. Looking forward to getting back to sailing in October of this year in Greece. And he's going to introduce you to our White Knight.
All right, everybody, let's get this party going. Let's get your hands together. Party tonight on the open deck. This is what it's all about. Having a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? You know, come on, here we go. Celebration. Celebration, that's right. So bring your good times and your melody. Celebrate, I need you to come on now. Celebration, we're gonna celebrate all of the time. Celebration, we're gonna celebrate and party tonight. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone. Celebration. Celebration. It's alright. A good night. Let's celebrate. It's alright. Let's celebrate. It's alright. Sing out good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. Here we go. It's time. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Celebration. Celebration. Celebration.